I'm not a confessional poet, which means I don't try to write about what is within me. For all you know, there may not be much within me. So I write about the interaction between external reality and my own responses to external reality. You understand? If you see a flood, then you talk about the flood. If you see poverty, you talk about poverty. History has a great influence on me. So I will take a historical incident or a mythology, and twist it totally. You understand? You twist mythology. He couldn't wait. He couldn't wait. Winter was upon him. Through abyss and tunnel, he had to go down to meet her in the seed dark of the underworld. She in her iceberg aspect, face frosted in a frown. Or so he imagined. He couldn't wait for spring when she trod the earth again and turned her face towards the sun like a heliotrope. Placental seed would pine for her return, and all vegetation which she quickened into life. He hadn't planned. Should he, on bended knee, ask another lease for his snake-stung wife? How are the dead retrieved? Retrieve? Was that the word? Ask for her soul, or the rest? Limbs, hair, laughter, voice. Give me a hearing goddess. He thought she hadn't heard. I write what we call committed poetry also, talking about what is wrong with society. For example, we had emergency for 3 years in India. I wrote a whole poetry book against the emergency. And there was censorship from 1975 to 1977. So I wrote a whole book against the emergency. Dawn will come, as it always has, escorted with pearls, the earth's chalice spiked with frost. Sandwiched between your rivers, one lament and the other blood, the land will flame like a tongue of fiery green, threading the Sierras. The bullring will pulse with blood. The red dust will still whirl and eddy across the road. Evenings will be as they were before, light rose or mauve shadow or smeared with iodine and chalked with the flight of trains. Nightscapes will still be the same. Bars of flamenco carried by the wind, goat herds round a fire, and sheepdogs barking at the rustle of dry oak leaves. Only you will not be there. I would call it contemporary poetry and dealing with reality and myth, both. But there is an underlying vein or stream of satire. When I see myth, I try to satirize it, you understand, with irony. His music had come to her as a rumor, and even rumor rang like a silver bell. Now he is on his way, past windbreak, constable, to this dank, cavernous space men call Hades, hell. He has lowered himself into our river Styx. News of him comes every minute to her throne. She claps for her younger maids to comb her hair, lacquer her toenails, throws out the older crones. For once the dark smothers her. She notes with surprise, let candles and the flambeau be lit. Things are dark as dreams, yet to travel to the eyes. She stills her excitement, but the maids are far too gone. We've heard him, they cry. His music is magic. We don't know if he is a lyre or a wand. I would recommend that people look within themselves in response to what is outside, including the environment. Environment and ecology are very important, and I'm going into that. My poetry is going into ecology, into birds. Birds are, what they are. Birds are, Pegasus is the emblem of poetry, and it's a horse, but it is also flying with wings. Jerusalem, you burn like an eternal candle. We are small men. Our eternities are spasms. You are an eternity, Jerusalem. Time is but a wee bit older than your stones. Beyond the desolate sea of sand and the desolate sea of salt, I come upon the amethyst dusk and your white stone, Jerusalem. For those who know history, there's nothing like you, Jerusalem. Those who drove us with their swords from Persia, let them not drive you from Jerusalem, Israel. But you are building a wall, and any wall between two people is a bad metaphor, Jerusalem. Berlin should have told you that. There are flares in the sky, but the lamps of your nation burn low. For what you are doing in Gaza, siege and starvation, medicine denied to children, leaves your friends aghast, Jerusalem. Arab children play and laugh and hunger for love, just like your children, Jerusalem. Let the dew on the olive branch not turn to a coat of cordite. On this New Year Eve, I pray that peace and dew descend on you, Arab and Jew, on Palestine and you, Jerusalem. Thank you. So I do feel that the changing world, we should write about it, and a little less writing about violence and blood. If you see the TV screens in India or in Europe, there's a lot of violence. The films also have gun-toting people and blood and people dying. I don't think that should become the subject or a focus of poetry.